All right. What's up? What's up, Panther Nation? You got Big Brother A here, Big Brother J. Guys, here's reaction to second preseason game against the Buffalo Bills. Not gonna sugarcoat anything. All right. You know, and I think Big Brother J will agree. One thing here at Carolina Boys Frathouse Podcast, we do not sugarcoat anything. All right, you're gonna get everything raw and real. And we know a lot of Panther fans, you guys are not happy yourself. So let's just go straight into the game. Let's before we get to overall offense defense. Better yet, you know what? Let's start. What's one nice a good thing you saw from the preseason game?
Um, hmm. I,
Oh, hold up, Big Brother J, your mic. I think your mic went out.
hey, can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah, 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 yeah. There you go. Okay.
Okay. I think that actually might have been a user error. I shouldn't have computer on that one. I think I did that. Hey, we just said we keep it real on here, y'all. But basically, so I would say that I saw some flashes from some players. I've been seeing some consistency from some of the new guys. Those are the things that I feel like we'll talk about that when we move forward. There's a lot I'm pissed off about, but I don't want we say we're gonna start off with a positive. So I did see some flashes from some of the new guys and some of the younger players that makes me, and even some of the guys that some consistency moves from guys like AJ Dillon and them that are not necessarily new players, but they're new to us. So it makes me feel pretty good, but there's some things that we got to figure out, like for sure.
hmm Uh, I'll mention two quick things. One, um, Zachy Wheatley uh, got a lot of tackles, so it
My
seemed like
boy.
he's a pretty solid tackler. And two, pass rush. We did see some pass rush. So even so from Jalen Phillips, from Princely, even with the mishap with Travis Gibson, he had like a face mask on Josh Allen, but they were getting
Yep.
to him. So I did see some ability to get to
Who's
the
the
court.
boy from the UFL?
Cam Gill. Cam Gill, he was one of the top five ranked people in the Hall of Fame game, and I think he'd probably be, ranked pretty high in this preseason game. So there go the
Yeah.
nice, some positive. Now let's get into the main problem, offense. Okay, offense. We had three. The starters went three and out three times. All right, and the third time it was against the Buffalo Bills' second string defense. All right, so we did not get a first. The starters did not get a first down. All right, and when questioned about that, Canales said he felt like the starters didn't uh, earn the right to keep playing. So you know, Big Red J, what's your thoughts just on the offense and like the starting offense?
So let me show the hat that I got on, y'all. I know I have like some Panthers hats on or like some frat hats on. This is like my hat. It's like this is how I felt watching the game today. And like y'all seen this old meme, Kermit drinking the tea. I didn't even know how to feel, man. I was just like, bro, man, the offense, the starting offense, it just kind of seemed like it was non-existent, and that's exactly what I feared would happen. Like it was like my exact fear come to life of, we just gonna have a bunch of three and outs, and it's gonna look like last year. and they're going to downplay it and make it seem like it's not that big of a deal. And oh, it's just like no, it is because if you're putting our ones up against other ones, and we can't even move the ball at all, we didn't get not one first down. That's disgusting. And even when they like say later, like oh, it was like I think we were talking earlier, bro, and they were saying something about like it was the linemen and all that. Okay, cool. I did see some not good linemen play based off of like we had some replacements in there. Like we were saying, Rob Hunt and what's my boy name on the other side of him was out. I get that, but I kind of feel like we should have been able to have like kindergartners starting at like those positions and at least be able to get one first down, bro. Like not one, and they were moving the ball on us. Like both Allens was destroying us, dog. Like, and it frustrated me, man. So I just kind of felt like I didn't see anything different. And each year it's like we kind of get in a little flow and we'll start winning some games, but it always starts off like real dull and dry. And like the preseason is limited, and what we see don't look good. And then it takes a while to get going when we get in the season. And I'm just like, bro, what are we missing here? It's I don't know, man, because the backups were who made the game excited, and unfortunately, the starters didn't really like get anything going like that.
Yeah, yeah. And the title of this live is same old shit, man.
Same old shit.
Yeah, same old shit, and it's like no matter who the offensive coordinator is, no matter like who's starting on the O line or what wide receivers we have, um, it's really the same old shit, man. This is Dave Canales' third year. Um, and when the starters play in preseason, we look horrible. Okay, just last year, we went out against the Browns and the Bengals. We went 3-and-out, and the starters did not play much. Okay, they played one series and then it's two series on another game, and that was it last year. And we were unprepared. Everybody talked about how bad the offense looked, but at that time it was like, hey, preseason isn't that important. Then we start the season 1-3, and guys, we've started 1-3 every year Dave Canales has been head coach. 1-3, and we ended his first year 5-12. Last year 8-9. Okay, that year could have easily been 5-12 as well. All right, and
Rico down over two of those wins.
Yeah, yeah, 200 yards in two of those wins. It could have been 6-11.
And ransom for another one.
Mm-hmm. And we got to change something, man. That's the main thing I kept thinking is like we have to do something drastic because it seems like it's the same old. And if the offense is struggling, why did we sign Dave Canales as head coach? Okay, it did not take Ben Johnson multiple years to fix the Bears offense, okay? The Bears offense has notoriously been pitiful. I believe like Jay Cutler was still their technical best offensive quarterback before Caleb Williams. Ben Johnson fixed that offense like that. Okay? Bears got a dynamic offense now. When he was with the Lions and he came on with Dan Campbell, the Lions offense was fixed like that. Okay? And the Lions offense still was, able to be productive after he left, but still he was able to do well. Sean McVay with the Rams. Why isn't our offense working? Okay, our offense shouldn't even just be working, it should be good. Okay, that was the whole I'm trying to understand. I kept just thinking, like, what's the purpose of Dave Canales being there? Like what is he offering us? Because he's not doing his job on offense. So our offense still looks bad. Like
You know
what's
what it
the
feels like, bro?
what it feel like?
It seems like you ever like you put something together and you've run everything the right way and everything's supposed to be the right way, but it still ain't working.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like you like, yo, I read the directions, I put everything together. There's no missing pieces. Like, it may not everything may not be like top tier piece.
Yeah. What man? Like we gonna start with the main issue, and we could go. I'm maybe in the near future episode we go into stats and stuff. But if you look at the screen, bam. Uh, let's talk about Bryce Young. Okay. Um, you know, to me, he's the main problem. Literally the main problem with everything, and I feel like as long as he's a quarterback, we're gonna always have problems with our offense. I think that's the biggest issue. We've been circling around it. We've been taking like bright points against games like against the Falcons or whatnot, but I think Bryce is the biggest problem. And Bryce, he's notoriously very bad in preseason. Seemed like he's very bad in practice and notoriously very bad in beginning of this year. So, what fans hold on to is like, well, he comes on during the later part of the year, but it's like, yeah, you're coming on and it's not like, hey, he's throwing 400-yard games consistently, even though he did break the Falcons record for passing, but we're talking about barely, doing okay. He went from horrible to okay. And teams, good franchises and good teams, and I'm gonna say even some bad teams as well. When they have quarterbacks like these that are just extremely inconsistent and very hard to work with, they replace them. They usually say, "Hey, we wanted to build against this around this guy, but it's not gonna work," and they usually get somebody else. So I'm gonna give you two examples. You know, a guy, I haven't seen his comparison for Bryce a lot, but Johnny Manziel, right? Smaller quarterback, thrives sort of in impromptu, improvisation play style. Um, had some athletic ability, but you wouldn't call him a scrambler like Bryce. Um, Heisman winner, very, very, basically a more aggressive version of Bryce. And the Browns quickly realized that besides Johnny Manziel's attitude, that we cannot run an offense through Johnny Manziel. So what did they do? They ended up drafting Baker Mayfield to replace him. Okay, and the Browns would say the Browns when Baker Mayfield was a quarterback, that was the best the Browns offense been uh since since he left. So and then another example is like Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow, extremely unique playing style. Had a team around him with Denver. He actually went to the playoffs and won a playoff game against the Steelers. But Denver realized, hey, we can't really build a consistent team around Tim Tebow. What did they do? They went and got Peyton Manning.
Yep.
Then they went to the Super Bowl and sadly won.
and cheated.
Right. But
Oh
even
yeah, they
before
cheated,
that,
bro.
I believe the first year they went 13-3 and lost in the conference championship. First year for Peyton Manning. But like yeah, man, like while we like this is Bryce Young's fourth year. We keep trying to make Bryce work. And I think now is the time just to admit that Bryce is just not a starting quarterback. Definitely not for us. And yeah, and what's going to happen is good teams like the Bills, they know exactly what to do with Bryce. So, are we going to tell ourselves, well, we'll lose badly to the good teams, but we'll maybe beat some teams that's not prepared and some sorry teams, and we'll keep, either going 8-9 or worse. Like,
Well,
no.
see, I think. Oh, go ahead, bro. My
No,
bad.
no, no, not bad. You go ahead. I'm.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm gonna cut you off. I was just thinking, like, um, when I look at us going like 3-and-out 3 times in a row, and that being like my exact fear, like I said earlier, um, I'm like, okay, say we did have, our 2 starting guards in, and they did get some more protection time, and like I'm trying to figure out would that have made all of the difference? Because if that doesn't, then what still is the issue? We got good running back play. We got good receiving play. You got Walker on one side of the line. You got Freeland on the other side of the line. From what they were saying he was doing pretty good. So if O line was the only issue, and we actually had our starters in there minus the 2 guards, then I'm like, I don't understand what more can be done. And I think that's the thing that's like kind of frustrating me because what I'm learning about life is that oftentimes things don't be what you want it to be. Like everything don't just line up perfectly. It's like you got to be able to have a backup plan and all kind of stuff, and as things happen, and that's something that's like hard to accept about life. But that is for sure the idea in sports, man. You got people who on the other side of the field, like coaches and players, whose whole job and identity is to stop what you're trying to do, and it's like if everything has to be perfect to be successful, then it bothers me because I feel like that defeats the purpose of having like somebody like if you think about it like the and I mean not to say that Bryce has never had no fights and comeback victories and stuff he has, but you know I think what I want to see, man, to make me believe like more is like, and I'm not saying, all right, let me clarify, I'm not saying the dude's supposed to be Tom Brady. But what I'm saying is, like greatness, when you're number one draft pick, and the expectations of that greatness comes along with like when something goes down, all right, he's going to make some good decisions. He's going to make some things happen. If this don't go his way, what's going to make him great is he's going to know, like, all right, I can read the defense and understand that this might be the time to run. This might be the time. Like the thing about Bryce is, all right. Remember, I think I was telling you earlier one of my guys that I work with, cool dude, he's a wrestling coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling me, he said, listen, man, he said, I was never like some super athlete or whatever. He said, but through discipline and hard work, like I was able to shape myself into quite a wrestler. Had certain gifts and everything. He was like, sometimes those guys didn't even work as hard. But when I see that, it's like I respect what Bryce, because Bryce is not the most athletic, man. He's not built like an athlete. I mean, let me not say that he's an athlete, but I'm saying he's not built like the quintessential big, strong quarterback, a 6'5". He's like a smaller guy. He's not that big. He's not like super strong. He's not very fast. I don't think anybody can argue that. But I feel like those things would help his game, and because even if things don't go well, and if he's not able to make that decision, not able to make that throw, he can take off on his legs. But he doesn't really have that. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. To me, it kind of makes me wonder, like, all right, with the pieces that are missing, like, how do we make what we have work? And that kind of like I don't know. I don't know. Has Bryce maybe? I hope this is not the case. But has he reached his peak? As an athlete, maybe was he able to, like my homeboy, the wrestling coach said, make the best out of what he had at those levels and get to the Heisman and get to the at the college level. But then when you get to the pro level, you're playing chess, but so is the other people on the other side. They got people who've been doing this longer. They got defensive coordinators that know the game in and out. They know everything about it. They know how to pick apart whatever strategies, even the decisions you're trying to make. They've already planned for that. And whereas you had way more space to make a throw in the college level, everybody at this level is bigger and faster and stronger. These are the best athletes in the world. Even the backup players are better than what you mostly play like in like a lot of college games played against. And if you played at Alabama and you had one of the top programs, then sometimes a lot of your competition you played against was not as good as you. So, yeah, you had a chance to become better by playing against other great guys on the other side of the ball, playing the best competition. But if you were already on a team that was the best competition, then it was different. But now that you at this level where you got cornerbacks that can close speed and distance like that, and they can get their hand right there and slap that ball down, if you don't have those same luxuries you had in college, how do we make you successful? So I guess that's what I'm trying to figure. I know that's a lot, but that's what's running through my mind right now, man. Like, what do we do at this point?
Man, we I would argue we've done overly abundant in trying to make Bryce successful. We fired Frank Wright and his whole staff on offense. That was Frank Wright, Thomas Brown, um, Ricky Prohl. Fired all of them. Um, we brought in Dave Canales specifically for Bryce, offensive coach specifically for him. We try to run first offense. We, we double dip first round at wide receiver for him. We, traded up for a running back for him, even though the running back was injured. We signed two guards because we felt like his play style or lack of height was similar to Drew Brees. And Drew Brees, while he was with the Saints, mentioned how his guards helped him a little bit more than his tackles. So we signed two great guards. Um, we've we've done a lot for him for to make the offense work. And Jalen Coker came out nowhere, but we made and signed him. Um, it's like, what else do we have to do? Like you said, what else do we have to do? We got they're saying the alignment depth isn't well. Does the line have to be all pro for him to do okay? You can't have like, hey, we're missing this lineman and show something. Okay, we already knew like Taylor Moton was older. Okay, he found out he ended up having a serious injury. All right, we knew Icky, which is why we drafted a tackle. We've drafted offense uh every year until since like what, J.C. Horn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're drafting offense. We're pumping everything in offense. This is the free.
Investing in offense.
Yeah. Okay. Icky's hurt. Bam. We drafted another tackle. We signed a tackle. We've signed Brady Christensen back. Um, like, what else do we have to do? We brought in a tight end. Hey, we said, hey, these tight ends aren't working. We got to bring somebody else in. Like, we're not doing that for defense. We picked our guys on defense, and that's it. This is really the first offseason we sort of spent some money on defense. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, I feel like, it's just excuse after excuse. And it's like, like you said, I think he peaked. I think last year was him peaking. And you got to look at quarterbacks like, Mitchell Trubisky, okay, with the Bears. Look at like quarterbacks like Christian Ponder for the Vikings. Okay, believe it or not, I believe Christian Ponder's stats are very similar to Bryce Young's. Okay, and
Consistent.
yeah, he had an All Pro 2000 running back and still could not do anything passing wise on offense. Okay, he had prime return from ACL Adrian Peterson, return from return from ACL reconstruction in 6 months. Adrian Peterson, who bust out 2,000 yards, and Christian Ponder couldn't do anything on offense. And you know, like you said, what else are we gonna need? Okay, Bryce. So we're gonna need Larry Allen and the '90s Dallas O line. Is that gonna help Bryce? Like I don't think so, man. I think it's always gonna be a problem. I think we know we got the pieces, but you know I think what we need to pinpoint is he mentally not able to do it, or is he physically not able to do it? One of those is the reason, or it could be you know big chunk of both, but one of those is the main reason why he's not able to be consistent. And
Because you
like,
gotta be, if you like number one, you gotta be that guy, bro. Like
yeah, man.
something has to like you gotta make something. The greats make something happen, bro. That's where greatness is forged at when things are not perfect and you still make it happen.
Yeah, yeah. I actually wanted to hear from
Like
Bryce.
you had the best player on the field. Like, bro, think about it like this. I'm all for having a good ass squad, and sometimes people just have really, really, really good teams. And I'm good. I'm happy for that. I understand that. That's how a lot of times you win Super Bowls and stuff like that. But if you think about it, the whole reason why they have, and as much as sometimes I hate the cap because I feel like the cap, sometimes I don't understand how people be getting all of these great players under the cap. I'm like, something ain't right over on some of these teams. It's how you get half of the good players in the league. Back in the day we was kids, you be like, no, that's domination. Y'all can't put all the good players on one team. They be doing that sometimes. They be like, how was that team that stacked? But at the same time, it's like I get it. Sometimes people just put the right places or the right pieces in the right places to make the difference. But stuff like the cap is there to like make sure you don't have everybody can't have the best player at every position. To a certain extent, you got to do the best of what you got. So if you've already been given a lot, then it becomes like, well, what are you not able to make use of? Because if you don't have the best line, like or don't have the best, then at what point does your game change? You drop back better, or like I remember earlier, like it was Kenny Pickett, and he was playing, and they had the pocket was like he could just all he had to do was step forward, and he had all of the space in the world. He could have ran, could have thrown, but he didn't see it in that moment, and he got sacked. Like, are you not taking advantage of stuff like that? Like, what is causing that, man?
Yeah, yeah. You know, and Kenny Pickett, man, he was taking some hits too, and
Yeah, dog.
you got to think
He
about,
got lit up.
and you can think about like Kenny Pickett, man. This is a guy who the Steelers, under Mike Tomlin, did a lot to make him work.
Yeah.
Did a lot to try to make him work as a starter, and he is only so much he could do. He couldn't take the next step. He peaked, and they ended up trading him to Philly and got Aaron Rodgers. Okay, so and speaking on trading, you know, how would you feel if we decided to trade Bryce? And this is just a theory. I'm gonna throw out a couple, but this. How would you feel if they decided, hey, let's try to trade Bryce before the season start?
So I feel like that would be like a blockbuster thing, not necessarily because it's like Bryce been playing so good, like oh, I can't believe we traded him. I think the headlines of that would be so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, I mean, honestly, I think that would show that they have like seen enough, and they would feel like, hey, bro, at this point, what we feel like we got, like say with a healthy hands King, like hold that down for a much cheaper price, kind of like how we was talking. And maybe they at that point would say they would try to recruit some sort of value back, for Bryce. I'm sure they wouldn't be just trading him for nothing. They might just try to see if they got some team to feel like they could use his skill set better and trade him there. Maybe he get a fresh start. Maybe things go a little bit better. Like I think, because I don't even know. Like matter of fact, have they said anything else about the starters playing in any of the other preseason games? Because if they're like, well, they didn't do well, so we're not going to put them out there. That is not a good look. Like, have they said anything about that? You know about?
Um, you know, they're supposed to play the starters the next game. It's supposed to, but we'll see how that goes. Um, but they would probably play the starters next game and use the final game, the fourth game for all the backup and third string players.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can see that.
yeah. Like you said, the headlines is going to be crazy because what we gave up for him. But think about it, like we what we gave up for Bryce. You expect him to be basically Josh Allen at this point. Like we expect you to have the ability to be a top five quarterback. That was the whole point of trading the first to get up to number one. We want you to be a top five quarterback, and we're not seeing it at all. Like you don't trade up to get let me think like current um Daniel Jones or current Aaron Rodgers. No, you want a guy that's playing at current Lamar Jackson, current Josh Allen level. You
Mm-hmm.
know, current Joe Burrow when he's healthy level. Um, he like the trade. Yeah, the trade would be a lot because they would talk about how much we gave and whatnot, but you know Dave Canales is really risking going down with the ship if he doesn't do something. Okay,
Yeah.
if Bryce tanks this season, I think a lot of people believe that Bryce would just be benched and Dave Canales would be able to get another quarterback for 1 year. I think if Bryce is benched or whatnot, which of course, no quarterback that's had the 5 year extra year and has been benched
Mm.
has played on that bench. They usually trade it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like we would get rid of Dave Canales. I think we're sorry this year Dave Canales is gone. I don't think we're gonna allow him to pick another quarterback at
Because you
number
couldn't
one.
make this one work.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, you signed on to make Bryce work. You couldn't make Bryce work. We're gonna bring in another head coach, and he's gonna get a
I can see
chance to
that.
get his quarterback. Like, uh, you know, and yeah, I think Canales is tied to Bryce, and but but if he benches Bryce or trade Bryce now, if he has that power, I could see people feeling like, hey, maybe give him another year because he's trying something different. Okay, he was sort of latched on with Bryce. He sees like, hey, this is struggling. I got to try something different.
Yeah.
And
Do
and
you
what
think he would be allowed to make any changes?
I don't think he's allowed to. And that's I'm starting to believe some of these conspiracies about Bryce Young, and like sort of the sway and power he has in the organization through David and Nicole Tepper because
Mm.
you know the post game interviews for the post game conference for the Panthers was canceled. Wasn't made available. We've had some of the local reporters sort of leak some of the interview questions, but uh, after this game, all of that was shut down, um, which is extremely strange. We were during the Hall of Fame game with Haynes King. You know, conference everything was up. Um, we keep signing or playing some of these quarterbacks that's barely in the league. There's no competition. There's no competition for this spot. For example, like the Vikings, Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy, they had an open competition. Kyler Murray won it. Um, there's no competition for Bryce. It's just hey, every job is handed. The job is handed to him. Um, I just think Canales is sort of in a lose position because I don't think he's allowed to switch from Bryce unless Bryce is hurt, and
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna. I think we're gonna start 1-3 or worse this year if he sticks with Bryce. And based on our schedule, strength of schedule this year, I don't think we're gonna be able to get back to 8-9 this year. It's looking like the 5-12 year where we started.
Nervous, bro.
Yeah, we started 1-3, then we sort of got beat down in the middle of the year, and we squeaked out some wins at near the end. And you know, Bryce. I'm gonna be honest. I question Bryce's leadership. I really question him as a leader on this team. Yeah, because I hear so many players defend Bryce, but I don't ever really hear Bryce defending himself. Even when he went on the NFL's top 100, it's like J.C. Horn's defending him, Derek Brown is defending him. They're like, "Oh, Bryce is a much better player than you think. He's tougher than you think." What? Like, why is Bryce not telling us he's a good quarterback? That hey, I can do this, and this.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I can lead this team. He did an interview with Cam Newton, and he just like, oh, I'm just glad to be here. It's like, man, tell us how you gonna lead this team. Joe Burrow was hurt, and they're like, hey, when you came back, I think he had like a ace Achilles injury, and it's like, hey, you got the metal playing shoe. Are you gonna be able to play well? And he's like, yeah, I'm me basically. Yeah, as soon as I get on the field, I'm gonna be able to play.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's going, yeah, yeah. With Bryce Young is just sort of like, oh my God, I messed up. And then, he goes into hiding. And like now, and we're left to like, oh, what are we doing now? Because Bryce is, he's not saying, hey, I'm going to, hey, this is unacceptable. I'm going to make up for this. I'm going to play, next preseason game, I'm going to show out or something.
Really get pissed off for real.
Yeah. There you go. Like, you don't get upset at his play or like, anything. It's just, okay, guys, I just can't do that. I can't, like, man, I just don't really see, it's been, like I said, man, it's been 4 years for Bryce. Okay. We already sort of messed up, doing that 5th year extension.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the 4th year in, you start preseason, then it's 3 and outs 3 times. Okay, like it's again like
it's against the Bills, but still,
man, it's against the Bills, but like I don't think the Bills are that great to shut us out completely like that.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
Josh Allen, our defense got to stop. They kick a field goal. Then the second drive, Josh Allen, hits DJ Moore, former Panther, for like 61 yards with 3 catches. Yeah, and then you even got Keon Coleman, a guy who, at one point, they were like, hey, man, you got to stop playing around. You're not going to make it on this team. hit him for a 9 yard touchdown. And like, oh my goodness, Woods, their running back, that Joker must love playing the Carolina Panthers because he
That's what
averaged.
I don't like, right?
Yeah, man.
I don't like
Woods
him.
Woods averaged like 8 yards a carry on us every
That's too
time he
sharp,
touches.
man.
Yeah, and 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 let me mention this about the defense right quick.
That dude was. I don't like how he treats us.
Yeah, like man, the run defense. I'm just really not used to Panthers. Like Panthers getting ran on for like 8 yards a carry and giving up.
Scary, bro.
I am not used to that Panther style of defense. Like there's just so many names of linebackers and safeties and D linemen we had that were great run defenders. I was actually thinking about Hitman Harris, Chris Harris,
Mm-hmm.
the other day, and like we had him, Luke Kuechly, Thomas Davis, John Beeson, even all the way back to Dan Morgan. Had guys like Starlu Talele, um,
AJ Klein.
AJ Klein, man, Dan Connor, um, James Anderson. Like, it's very infrequently.
That run down, man.
Yeah, it's very infrequently where we were just getting run. Teams were running down our throat, man, and like it seems like that's just happening very frequently against us. And Shirless, Shirless actually got the start over Trevor Wallace. I'm not sure if he showed anything different, but I was did like to see that, but to be honest, like I said, back to offense, just I knew, we know everything revolves around Bryce, and this is exactly why I say everything revolves around Bryce. 'Cause I feel like, and it's another thing with the team. I feel like when Bryce plays horrible, I feel like the team quits.
That's a good point. I can see that.
Yeah, like usually when Bryce cannot do anything on offense, it seems like teams whoop our ass. Like, we lose by 30, 25 plus. We gave up 300 yards rushing or 400 yards passing, something like that. It's like, man, it's not like, let's say like the 2001 Ravens where if the offense is horrible, the defense is so strong that they would win a close game or lose a close game.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's like, hey, Bryce didn't come to play.
Neither did we.
Yeah, neither did we. And then it's like, hey, the game, score 27-3. He has 54 yards passing. Like,
You
they,
know what I think that is though, bro? I think it's because like if they see, bro, I'm playing my, and I think like maybe the defense will be playing and they'll be trying to do what they can do, and guys will still be trying to like I don't know run their routes with it. I guess they like, bro, if we can't get nothing going though, how are we supposed to win? Like you can't think like that. You gotta like, that's to your point, bro. Like you gotta fire your quarterback's supposed to fire the team up, you know?
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. You got to be the type of quarterback people believe you can lead the team back. We can come back. There's a chance with this guy. You know, not I think the team, man. I think to be honest, man, I think the team just believe like, hey, when Bryce plays like this is over. Like, yeah, and that's a bad precedent to set on the team. So like I think two things need to happen immediately, especially since they stopped that post game conference. I think this next preseason game, the starters need to play the whole first half or close to the whole first half, or maybe just the whole first quarter. Let's say that the first quarter, but willing to play the first half. Hey man, you guys, you don't get a break because we got to compete.
Yeah, you can earn no break.
Yeah, you ain't earn no breaks. Like, yeah, man. Like, bump, hey, this person might get injured. Hey, we need you to show something. And I'm not talking about, hey, we get a drive and we just happen to score a touchdown. Hey, I want them to score 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals, something. You get 2 touchdowns and 2 drives, then maybe y'all get the rest. But especially against this next team against the Jaguars, opening day Jaguars whooped our ass.
It really did.
Okay, yeah, this team, last season first game whooped our ass. We playing them in preseason just like the Bills, because the Bills whooped our ass last year. So you got 2 teams in preseason. The Bills basically, even though the score might not show it, the Bills whooped our ass.
Mm-hmm.
This preseason game too.
Yes.
Are you gonna let the Jaguars whoop us again? Because if that happens, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna just be under the belief, like, hey, any good team is gonna come in and whoop our ass.
Yeah.
And
which would tell us what tier we're at if we can't do anything with teams at a certain level.
yeah. So it's like, are we, and then, like I said, when fans bring up last year, are we competing to barely make the playoffs in a bad division? Or are we trying to get to a Super Bowl team, Super Bowl winning team? Okay, look at Mike McDonald for the Seahawks, man. Took him 2 years. Took him 2 years to turn around that whole team and win a Super Bowl. Like, you look at Sean McVay with the Rams. It didn't take him long. I believe it took him like a couple years. Like, it don't take good coaches or the right, system to flip things around quickly.
Oh.
And,
as usually what shows good coaches.
Yeah, man. I mean, even look at Ron Rivera, man. Ron Rivera came in with Cam. You could decide whether you put that a little bit more on Cam than Ron Rivera, or vice versa. But Ron Rivera had the defense stout.
Yeah.
Okay, once we got Luke Kuechly and got him settled at middle linebacker, the defense was stout. Third year, his defense. Yeah, third year his defensive system was set. Okay, so we might not like he did enough for offense, but he did what he had to do on his side was set in 2-3 years. Offense, we like I said, offense. Dave Canales, what are you doing on offense? Like, we got all these pieces, okay? Everybody can see these so-called pieces and see the so-called talent, but if we're only putting up 18 yards passing in 3 different series, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we're
ineffective.
Yeah, if we put up 18 yards in one half, 18 yards of offense in one half, before Kenny Pickett got more time and Kyle Trask, like, DJ Moore had more than our whole offense in the first half.
Yes.
Like, man, like I said, man, I really, like I said, man, I just really didn't like that. After that, when we pulled him, I was hoping that Dave Canales was going to keep the starters in until they did something on offense. Even if it was the second string, like, hey, man, you guys, we're going to keep you out there till you score.
You got to do something.
Yeah, like, how, I'm starting to even question how physical our practice is. Because, they're like, hey, things got chippy. How chippy can you be when you're getting punched in the mouth when you face another team?
Yeah.
Okay? Like, a lot of people bring up that Cam Newton and Josh Norman fight. Like, they brought that to the other team when the season started.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's like, yeah, we were really battling and fighting in camp because when we got to the season, hey, we brought that to the other team too. We going and getting beat down by the other team. Like, Man, it like I said, it don't make a it the team just don't make any sense. That's why I keep thinking. I'm like, why are we so sorry on offense? Like, I that's what keep me confused. I'm just still confused on that. Why are we so sorry on offense? Okay, we can't
And
blame.
I think the main thing is like no movement, no traction, no anything. Not like we're getting there, we can't convert in the red zone even. That's something you can change. To not even be able to get the ball rolling. That shit is like that's really, really confusing.
Yeah. This like Jimmy Clausen. Hey, I don't even care about playing in the league. I'm not doing anything. I'm throwing barely checkdowns. Level play, and that's why I don't blame John Fox, man. Before he already knew he was out, but it's like, hey, I'm gonna sign every free agent quarterback to do something on offense. 'Cause I know Jimmy Clausen is checked out already. So, that was the year we signed like Brian St. Pierre, Vinny Testaverde. We were signing like just anybody off the streets to start over Jimmy Clausen. And
Birdie.
and like,
No, it always sounds like a Lamborghini or something.
yeah, Vinny,
The
listen,
Lamborghini tested Birdie.
listen, it does. man, 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 we listen, though, like I said, those team that team still had Steve Smith. So you had Steve Smith in double trouble and couldn't do anything on offense. Think about that. Think about that now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you know, like just look at like 2008 Panthers with 2009. As soon as Jake Delhomme arm died, all of a
Yeah.
sudden we couldn't do anything on offense.
Nope.
Okay, you still got two great running backs. You still got Steve Smith, and the offense just couldn't do anything because Jake Delhomme couldn't throw.
Yeah.
And we threw away that season for Jake Delhomme. Okay, we threw away that season, and they tried Matt Moore. Matt Moore was able to do something, but you got to look. We got to look at like it's not the pieces, it's the quarterback. Like if Bryce was able to do something, it would show. It would show. It would show. And the offense, we would be like, okay, we got to get other pieces, but at least Bryce is still doing something. Still, the offense is still doing something. Like, just I'm not. I just don't know what Bryce is offering our offense. Bryce or Dave Canales.
Because whatever it is, it ain't working.
Yeah. Whatever it is not working. And like I said, I think back like I said, these coaches and they know these quarterbacks aren't gonna last in the league. They're not. Their style of play isn't gonna work. And I think Bryce's style of play isn't gonna work. What makes him comfortable isn't gonna work in the league. You can't be that level improv in the NFL with where talent is so similar. Okay, we not you can't Bryce wants to play four wide receivers out, shotgun every play. That's not gonna work with him because he can't do that in the NFL where someone gets open zero point 0.3 seconds because he's way talented than um this D2 school they're playing against.
Mm-hmm.
And he like I said, college is college, man. Like think about it, man, like if we was going off college, Reggie Bush would be a Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? Matt Leinart would be the new Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Like college is college for a reason.
What's my boy? They played Vince.
Vince Young with,
Yeah.
with Texas, if you have time, look at his story. He talks about he had a close relationship with Steve McNair. Shout out to him. Rest in peace. But Steve McNair really looked
Oh,
out
Steve
for him.
McNair, the Qs?
Yeah, yeah. Hughes and that died in and like I say, look into his story. The way he died is still sort of up to questionable because
Yeah.
it's sort of written off that his lover killed him and killed herself, but there's still a lot of question marks in that case.
I see what you're saying. I remember that. I was so sad.
And but I just don't see what Bryce is offering this offense. Like, is T Mac gonna be able to reach his potential with Bryce? We know he's good. Is he gonna be able to reach his potential? I already think Xavier Leggett is not going to be able to work with Bryce. Bryce is just not a deep threat thrower.
Mm-hmm.
And but I look at some of these guys. Are they going to be able to reach their potential with Bryce in this offense? Probably not. Is
Which
the
would be sad if that happens like that.
Yeah, you put all these resources in the offense. The offense got to be top 15. Okay, we were bottom.
Yeah.
We were number 28 last year. And man, I'm just really disappointed in this team, man. I'm just really I was like, I didn't expect them to just come out that flat. I thought there would be like more urgency.
You would have thought last week would have been like that,
Yeah, yeah.
versus man, like last week the backups came out and put up a show.
Right, right. Like you said,
You know?
like you said, I would expect us to get our ass whooped in the Hall of Fame game, and I'll be like, hey man, that's we had a third string quarterback and third stringers and stuff on the team, and for us to be that hungry in this game,
Yeah.
okay, if that happened, if the reverse happened, we would feel extremely good because we were like, hey man, Bryce actually competed, and Kenny Pickett, and like, hey, you know, and I think that's the thing with Haynes King. He looked so dynamic and ready to compete that we haven't felt that in a while, man.
Yeah.
We haven't felt that just that drive to compete. As soon as he stepped on the field,
Or
and that's what I'm saying. Like
that confidence.
yeah, confidence. There you go, confidence. Like hey,
Like aggressive confidence.
mm-hmm. And I'm wondering, like you know, and what can Bryce do that Haynes King can't do? Like would you rather be sorry with Bryce or sorry with Haynes King? With Haynes King, if he's sorry, you can get another quarterback, no problem. Okay, he was an undrafted free agent anyway. If you and like I said, with Bryce, you trade him, you get an extra pick. Okay, it's probably gonna be a low pick if we wait to the end of the season, but you get a chance to get a pick. Um, with Haynes King, though, you don't know if he can be good. That's the thing. I'm sort of feel like we already know what we're gonna get with Bryce. We don't know.
You can at least he'll be good, but you don't know how Haynes King can perform at that level.
Right. We're playing like you know the 49ers traded up for Trey Lance, and but they had Brock Purdy, and they realized Brock Purdy can lead the offense. And instead of them trying to force Trey Lance to be the guy, they went with Brock Purdy. So, nobody talks about that bad draft trade they did because they won out with Brock Purdy. I
Mm-hmm.
think, this might be a potential similar chance where, hey, we didn't win this trade, but like, hey, we got, somebody that we might be able to keep for that might be like, a little gem that could do something with the offense.
Yeah.
And man, they need to evaluate that now, man, because if you go with Haynes King, let's see him with the ones in his next preseason game against Jaguars. You know what I'm
I
saying?
see
Like,
that.
yeah, let's see him with the ones. Then don't try to force him with the ones. Let's say like during the season. Let's see if we can build up something.
Now,
Yeah, build up something now. And
especially if you feel like Bryce them ain't earned the right or whatever.
yeah, man, listen, I don't think Bryce earned the right to be a starter or a captain, I
Yeah,
should
man.
say. Like they call him captain, man. You can't be a captain and you afraid to talk to the media and you looking at playing that bad. Like how I'm gonna look you in the face as a man and I got 18 passing yards for the whole game and you looking up to me as a leader. You know, my play's not showing it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, are you gonna talk to the media? Nah, man, I need you to go out there and say something good on my behalf. That's not what a leader does.
We didn't take that, nah, bro. That's on me. That's just that. Then they do something about it.
Yeah.
You know what it remind me of on the wire? When Marlo was there's like it's a clip on the wire where it's like Marlo questions fruit, and I think he was talking about like how like they was in the games. He was talking about how he wasn't making his sales and everything, and he was saying like, man, is this going on and that going on? He's giving him a list of things, and he was just like, man, I used to encounter things back when I used to be on corner boy on the streets and everything. But whenever my sales slip, I make sure I damn sure did something about it, and that always reminded me is like that's what type of stuff that happened, but that's how he became who he became. Love him or hate him, because when he was in that role, he did something about whatever it was. It wasn't perfect for him either, but he made it happen. And I think like that's the idea of like, if you're going to be that person, like it's going to be the expectations. Like it is what it is. Like Bryce knew like that, and I mean he couldn't help with all of the stuff that happened with the team and everything. But now I feel like the ship has been righted enough to where he should be able to make some things happen. And but it's the idea of like, bro, you understand that you were going to be, you wanted to be number one draft pick, so you got to understand the expectations that comes along with that. And the people, a fan base, an organization, everything has traded everything to get you. And then since you've been here, yeah, there was some dysfunction, there were some things, but some players got to play their entire time in absolute dysfunction. Yeah, there's some things that's still dysfunctional about the team, but it's like they're trying to do things.
You know, that's what my probably when we're gonna probably push for next one. So say, listen, something got to happen. That's gonna be the title unless something actually does happen. But something got to happen.
Hopefully it does.
That's why I just keep having. It's like,
I
listen,
want to be in a good mood for the next pod.
yeah, because listen, if nothing happened, I already know how the beginning of the season gonna start.
Yep.
I already know how this next preseason game. I already know how the beginning of the season gonna start. And if it starts like that, I'm looking at some other teams and betting on which one of them are gonna get to the playoffs and Super Bowl. We're not because I'm like Panthers not gonna get there, and I already know without Rico or without somebody to break out in the second half, we're not gonna come back to get close to break even. Like come on, man. It's the same. It's the same thing, man. Before, I remember when we had Xavier Leggett, Adam Thielen, and Jonathan Mingo.
Mingo.
Yeah, man. We had him, and was it another guy? And Jalen Coker, I think. But back then it was like, hey, our wide receivers couldn't get open. You know, we couldn't do enough. Adam Thielen is old. Blah blah this, blah blah that. Then why are we still getting the same production now? We got T Mac. Okay, T Mac was offensive rookie of the year. Why is the offense the same?
Yeah.
Yeah, like we got it's like we got different
T Mac
players.
out there today?
Say it again.
Was T Mac even out there today?
Listen, T Mac actually was out there. He was just a ghost because we didn't do anything.
That's crazy, bro.
T Mac was out there. Jalen Coker was out there. Xavier Leggett was out there. Like it's a lot of guys. Listed sort of as a starters that like I said, we didn't even know they played because our offense didn't do anything. And let me look at the stats. I think 9 yards went to Jonathan Brooks, and let me see if I can find where the other stats went right quick. Um, Let me see. Okay, my computer acting slow. Let me look. But 18 yards, man. That's all we had. 3 drives, 18 yards. So it's like whose fault is that? Because like
Offense.
yeah
Tired.
and they're saying the offensive line um like who let me see.
Because I feel like the same way we couldn't get nothing going, I also didn't like the fact that the defense can stop the run.
Yeah.
Just was like critical things. It was like, bro, that is important, basic things to be able to have under control. And we didn't have neither one on either side of the ball. We just I think I couldn't understand that either. Like at most level, I think at all levels, we had a hard time stopping the run. And then on offense, we couldn't even get anything going. Couldn't get any run established. Couldn't get any holes for the backs to get through. I cannot figure out what incarnation we were doing. That's when I'm just flabbergasted. That's
Yeah.
what incarnation is.
Yeah, so hey, 9 yards to Jonathan Brooks, 6 yards to Tommy Trimble, 3 yards to Jatavian Sanders. Like 3 and 5 in a sack. Like you know, why isn't he looking at T Mac? Why isn't he looking at Jalen Coker? Trying to tell me the Bills second string defense shut both of them down? Yeah, like nah, yeah,
First string would have shut both of them down.
yeah, first string maybe, but like, come on, man, like I've been hearing about Bryce Young's and T Mac's connection in the training camp. So the old line prevented Bryce from doing anything on offense. Like, then it should be mandatory. The whole starting line got to play for the third preseason game. Like, it's all and like I said, I listened a little bit of Dave Canales, and to be honest, man, that shit's getting old. That whole like, yeah, we got to do better. We're gonna go back and look at the tape. Man, you can take that tape, and then take tape from 2024, and it's like y'all doing the same shit. Okay, the old line was supposedly, yeah, same result. You remember the old line was supposedly not good then.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the whole point of signing Rob Hunt, Damian Lewis. Okay, they both did.
Boy name I can remember earlier, Damian Lewis.
Yeah, yeah, man. Damian Lewis is a baller. He just, he nicked himself when we decided, hey, you shouldn't have to play, even though he was healthy to play. Rob Hunt, he is healthy to play, but hey, you know what? You just coming back from a hamstring injury. Okay, let Rob Hunt sit. If you need Damian Lewis,
Yeah.
let him play. Like, man, them jokers. Like I said, man, jokers. Just like I feel like, man, by halfway of this season, it's gonna be like you know, hey, we need Bryce Young and Canales gone.
Think so?
Yeah, yeah, cause you know, and man, I'm sort of worried because I feel like isn't really being able to show anything, and I'm worried he's not going to be able to show anything with Bryce, and then he goes to another team, and then like, oh, he's a
He
great
balls
play,
out.
yeah, balls out, like, but like I said, man,
Or plans out.
yeah, if Bryce is benched, Canales is gone. Like I said, I think Tepper, like I said, and I've always thought Tepper still like had control, and I don't know what that Joker love about Bryce, man. I don't know if Bryce is just that charming of a young man.
He
With
feels like Bryce's Bryce is marketable and all.
yeah, I do think he is marketable as a nice guy. You know, think it's just but like do you want a marketable
But you know what
player?
I think it is too? I think it's because Pepper's a business guy and he thinks in a structure. Even with Alex sometimes, like I think it's kind of a frustration, but sometimes like I want to see you get angry. Because we're playing in a you can game. Because we're playing in a you can game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, and yeah, like listen, you want your quarterback to be more competitive for nice and good and all that. Like I want a competitive, you know, prideful quarterback, and you know, you could tell Cam had a lot of pride. Cam believes he's still better than at least the top. You know, there's no he like what he says. Not 32 quarterbacks in the league better than him. And I think Cam
Yeah.
truly believed that, and you know, Cam always had high confidence of himself, and you know, Bryce has always just been, I'm sort of lucky to play. I'm just grateful to play. And
Bro, we get humble. Stop.
mm-hmm. And
Don't be mean.
yeah, I'm looking, man. I'm looking at this team, and it's like it's hard to even evaluate them because it's like I feel like I said I feel like it's gonna be a lot of games where the team is gonna quit, and that's what I felt last year for certain games, and that's what I felt definitely felt a good bit the year before, where teams were just coming in
I saw
and
some players quit today.
yeah, they played like, hey, listen, man, we not gonna be able to do anything. I'm over this game. I already know we not gonna be able to come back.
You want defense? No, if anything, believe it or not, I'm trying to make the team something, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would seem that would seem like, man, and like we're lucky that the Bills actually didn't play a great game. They did a lot of penalties. I think they had like 60 yards of penalties in the first half. Don't know how many they had in the second half, but the Bills actually didn't even play that great. And you know,
We need to get something no worse than we did.
mm-hmm. And what I don't know what else. Like I said, I don't know what else. If we're gonna do the same old, what else we gonna do? Because you with this type of thing, you're never gonna get a top 20 offense. Okay, bump top half. You're never gonna get a top 20 offense if we keep playing the same way, same style.
Yeah.
And like I said, what's gonna happen is teams like the Bears. Teams like the Bills, Eagles, hungry teams that got good solidified teams, they gonna come in and whoop our ass. They gonna, man, just they gotta, like I said, man, they gotta make some type of announcement. I feel like gotta do something, some type of announcement. Gotta do something. Either they're gonna, yeah, shake something up, or they're gonna say, hey, man, this next game, you know, I said, he said 10 to 20 reps. We only did 9 reps with the starters because they went 3 and out 3 times. He said, hey, man, you know what? This was unacceptable. Starters gonna play the whole first half. This next game.
I want to see something.
Yeah, I want to see something. They gotta earn my trust. Again, say it like that. They gotta earn my trust so they don't get rest. Okay, they gonna play the fourth game too. You know, I saw a post say something like Bryce Young and the Panthers offense are like spoiled kids that even when they don't perform, they still get basically congratulated. Like, you know what? Instead of you competing, go back home to the beach house.
Yeah.
Like, man, like that's not punishing them. Like I said, they got earned. Say, hey, Bryce, there's an open kit. There's an open competition for quarterback now.
So if you don't make it happen, then you lose your spot.
Yeah, you don't make it happen. We trying somebody else with the ones. Do that. Like I said, he's
So
talking.
it's like if you're an actor, they're like, okay, we don't want to like make you audition for this role, so you may have somebody where they may have E-list talent, you don't know because they haven't proven A-list talent yet. You're like, well, we're not gonna make you audition for the role. We're gonna just bring in like talent that's underneath you, and that's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna just bring in C-list actors from straight to DVD, and yeah, you ain't gonna have no risk. It kind of seems like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now it seems like, and man, I think what when we're saying what it seems like, and we're saying like what it's trending towards, and I think I'm pretty sure we're right, man, because this is what's been happening. We've been right. A lot of Panther fans, we've been right from what we've seen the past couple years, and the only thing that's proven us wrong was Rico Dotto's emergence. Okay, when
Yeah.
he emerged, we didn't know about his ability to be, have that burst of energy. That sort of woke our offense to compete. Okay, that awoke our offense to compete. Then Bryce, I guess, felt comfortable. Um, if running back was so important, hey, why should have signed the Seahawks running back? Um,
He was out there
yeah,
after
yeah,
winning Super Bowl MVP.
MVP, yeah. And he go to the Ravens?
I think so. Did he?
Let
I'm
me
not sure.
let me see. Kansas City, excuse me.
Okay.
Okay, he went to
Still
Kansas.
one of the top teams. Like, how do you afford? I don't understand how caps work, bro.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now,
Sometimes you be like, bro, how do y'all have all of that and hire 20 people on one roster?
listen, they make it work, man. They like, I don't know, backdoor or like spreading out the cap. They make it work, man. And and I'm not surprised with the Chiefs needing a running back because they've been trying to make they've been making their backups or whatever running backs try to work. And what's the guy they drafted that did not do well? Let me see if I can think his name. But they drafted a running back that didn't do anything, and it's almost so like I'm not surprised they picked him up. Um, let me see who was the running backs the year before. Yeah, Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. They've been making them two work, and You know, Pacheco, he's with the Lions now. Kareem Hunt, you know, man, is he still playing? Let me see. Kareem Hunt, yeah, he's basically out the league.
Is he?
Yeah, man. But you know, Kareem Hunt's been playing since 2017.
See, I thought he was in there longer. I think it was like 2014 or something.
Yeah, yeah, probably before, but yeah, he's a free agent. But like, hey, listen,
Right now.
and like, man, if I'm the Chiefs or some of these other guys in our division, looking at us, I'm like, man, these guys are food.
Oh yeah, for sure.
These guys are food. Let me see when we play them, because I believe a lot of our division games are in the middle of the end of the year. Team will quit
So
by
this would be
then.
some Sun Tzu level like foolery if we wasn't.
Like the Saints, do we think we could beat the Saints now? No.
No.
Okay. Do I think we can beat?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we lost to the Bucks. Do I think we could beat the Bucks now? No. Okay, we could beat the Falcons. You know, they got Tua and Michael Penix. Like, you know, I'm look. Let me just look at the schedule. I'm looking at our schedule over again, and I'm not seeing 10 wins.
Yeah. Like what I'm seeing right now, especially when you was talking about earlier, that last stretch.
Mm-hmm. See, I'm looking.
Like after the bye week.
Yeah, yeah. Like let's see. We got 4 games. Yeah, then the bye. So this is assuming same old, same old. We will go 1-3 in those 4 games. So we're gonna lose to either the Falcons or the Browns. I can see us losing to the Bears and the Lions, but we're gonna add a loss either from the Falcons or the Browns. So 1-3, bye. Then bam, Eagles, bam, Packers, bam, Buccaneers, then the Broncos, then the Saints. You know, last year we got like 3 or 4 of those games during that middle. I don't see us winning. I don't see us beating the Eagles in Philly, the Packers in prime time. We did beat them last year. I don't see us beating them again. Definitely don't see us beating the Broncos. Sean Payton likes shitting on us. So I already know he's going to have something crazy for that game.
Sean Payton, the faces he be making when he know he whooping, I can't stand it.
Yeah. You know, the last time he said, like, hey, we didn't face a good team. You know, he did all this disrespectful stuff on us. So, like, if we lose to the Eagles, Packers, Broncos, and Saints after, let's say we beat the Buccaneers, but we lost those 4 games, that's 2-7. And then guess what we got coming after the Saints? The Ravens. Say it again. Yeah. Right after the Saints. Oh, the last one for the season is Falcons. But you see, like, you know, before we had those Falcons games in the middle of the season, now we got the Saints and the Buccaneers and these tough teams in the middle of the season. So, like, you know, by the time we get to the Falcons, we might be like 2-15. You know what I'm saying? 2-14.
Yeah, yeah.
3-13.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's gonna care about that damn game. Like we played the Seahawks. The Seahawks whooped our ass last year. Uh, yeah, I'm just look. I'm man. I'm just looking at these teams, man, and especially after the middle and after the bye, and it's like I would be pissed off if we go like 2-7 and then they decide to sit down Bryce. You see what I'm saying? It's like,
So
oh,
you feel like when if they're going to do it, when you think?
I think at the very latest it got to be after the bye week. You give them the first 4 games. If we can't do shit them first 4 games, okay, we got to start somebody else to salvage the season. To try to salvage the season. Like hey Bryce, you like I say, you peaked last year, and that happens, man. Like I think Mitchell Trubisky. Let me look, but didn't he have the Bears in the playoffs one year?
I want to say you did.
Let me
Oh,
let me
Mitch.
let me look. Yeah, Trubisky came in. Uh, let's see. Yeah, they were 12-4. He think about that, man. He had the team 12-4, and the Bears. That was off the strength of the Bears defense, and he was an alternate in the Pro Bowl. That way he sort of peaked though. And then what happened? The year after that, he played so bad that they announced in his 4th year there's an open competition. Right? They declined his 5th year option, and Nick Foles beat him out.
Oh, Nick Foles. Nick Foles is a legend, dog.
Man, he's still a legend with Philly.
Yeah.
And man, look, they say they selected
I
Mitchell.
guarantee you, he never got to pay for nothing a day in his life in Philly.
Yeah, that's another guy, Mitchell Trubisky. Very similar to Bryce Young, man. Like just sort of peaked early. They're not gonna, he's not gonna last like with this team. Like the Bears just did a smart thing and didn't, resign themselves to him. Like think about that. We picked up his 5th year option. If we sit him down, you got to trade him because Bryce's not going to play as a backup. He's probably going to think I can compete somewhere else.
Oh, for sure.
And now we're on the hook for the money, though. I think, unless the teams, I guess, trade and take on that money. But like yeah, man. Just looking at Mitchell Trubisky just now, like his little rundown with the Bears. He has better stats than Bryce Young.
Strawberry cake.
He has better stats. Like what?
Bro, I was pointing out my strawberry cake real quick. I'm a big bag, so I'm going to be snacking.
Listen, man.
Coffee.
The Panthers gonna make a lot of Panther fans big backs with the way they playing, or the way they competing. Like man, like what like I said, man. I just don't understand. What are we gonna do? That's why I just keep thinking. I'm like, what are the Panthers gonna do? After this game, this coming up, this week coming up. Like, what's going to be different?
I was gonna say, like, it's like, you know how you got people that are like, well, we just coming off of a victory, so why aren't you guys happier at this week? I'm like, no, like, I'm not saying that there's nothing to be happy about with the team. What we're saying is if our first, like, high, top tier level of our team is not able to be more competitive enough to where they can't even establish a first down, that is reason for concern because it's the same thing every year, and it kind of we luck our way along, but at a certain point, luck runs out. So there's what is going to happen in this time frame to make you see that there's going to be some consistency. Like any team could like it's called any given Sunday for a reason because the team can have a good day, a series of good days. But what is it to show that there is a serious step that's being taken forward? That's just where it is.
Mm-hmm. Right, right, and you know that's like I said, that's just what I'm wondering what's going to be the next serious step because if we do the same old, we're not taking the leap, and uh,
Definition of insanity: do the same thing and expect the
yeah,
same result.
there you go, definition of insanity, man. And it's like I said, that's and let's go ahead and just leave off on that, man. So, guys, I guess where we're gonna stay. I guess so. I want where we're gonna sort of stay tuned towards to try to look. Let's see if they announce anything or make any type of change these next 2 days. Okay, let's see because next preseason game I believe is on the 21st or 20th. Um, what let's see if like I said let's see if it's like if something is announced if it isn't then you know what we say we was going to title the next episode um um I don't
What
know
time earlier? What did we say?
and I'll just have to watch and see but yeah whatever we said earlier we're gonna have to list that as the title just basically stating stating something that hey we just is looking downhill
Oh
and
yeah.
just another form of same old shit
Yep.
and yeah man but sad like I said tough loss man tough reaction to the loss from coach and Bryce and leaders um
A lot of angry Panthers,
yeah a lot of
Panthers
anger.
fans.
Guys, a lot of people were happy after the Hall of Fame game. A lot of people are strongly upset now. And,
Yeah.
as fans, what we got to do is we got to, like I said, question and let them hear our rage, our anger. And maybe that'll help change something. But just think about it, man. Look back to the past couple preseasons under Dave Canales. Look at this current one. Has anything changed? Okay. Players and whatnot changed. System has changed. But has the result changed? Looking at this, has not. This I think this might be the same exact score. No, no, it's not. Excuse me. The Browns actually whooped our ass a little bit harder last year. But
Yeah.
very similar score. Other team puts up 30 on us. Okay, like
Yep.
oh, we that team now. Hey, that team. If they need some, points and some guys trying to make the Pro Bowl, play the Panthers. You can put up about 30 on them.
Yeah.
But
Why we not game ready?
any last words on your part?
Um. So I'll say like we'll be looking closely this week. If on any changes like the battles is heating up and everything. But I want to see I'm excited about the battle at linebacker, different positions and everything like that. I want to see if certain people are going to make the team. I'm very interested in like the cut downs from rosters, the different time frames and everything. But like, yeah, I just want to see like what our plan is for next week. Like as far as like what they're going to do specifically with the starters. Like, going to be any change of opinion on that and everything. I want to see when it's addressed. Like I did see. Seems like while we've been recording, I think I saw something like I was checking something earlier. And I think I saw something was like a post Might have been like Bryce or somebody them talking in the locker room and all of that. So I think they might have been addressing it now. But it's like I don't see nobody smiling. I'm upset about this, man. So I want to see like what are we going to address this, and I don't want to see nobody glancing over it being a preseason game or nothing. Like I want it to be addressed. Like why are we stalling out on offense? Why is the defense allowing these runs? Like I hope that the reporters in the room are asking those questions.
Mm-hmm.
So that way they'll have to answer that and they'll have to explain like what is causing this and what do you plan to do about it because these are the same problems we've been having. So if we can't get anything started, I want some people to be like, why does it seem like second and third string is being more productive than the first string? Like that is what's scaring me, bro. Like we all, for us to say like we don't always have depth. Okay, cool. Now it seems like our depth is better than the surface right now, and it is what it is. But outside of those things, on a positive note, I would say I'm excited about like some of the players, young players like Key Wheatley, balling like a dog. Man, it was good to see Lee Hunter was doing some good things out there. Like I said, Reed, that guy Washington. I like to see AJ Dillon doing his thing, but he's not necessarily a young player. I like to see him, doing his thing. Makes me wonder where he's going to fall on the depth chart. I'm glad to see, thankfully, to see Jonathan Brooks be healthy. Hopefully, God willing, he stays like that. But it's like we got to be able to get something for him to be able to break free and get some moves. So I want to see what he can really do moving forward. So there's a few other players. Oh, my boy Will Lee, he was out there, so I want to see more of him. I want to see what we do, like the rest of it on this safety position. Oh, what was the other guy? Isaiah Simmons. He was making some plays and everything. So I'm excited to see who like wins certain positions because I think there are some really good battles going on, and hopefully we'll see that soon. But yeah, I'm just hoping that they address this and we figure out like what's going to happen at on the offensive, moving the ball, moving the sticks. Because hey, I'm just not happy what I'm seeing right now from the first string and everything.
Right, right. So yeah, but all right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and call it. Stay tuned, man. Let's see if there's any announcements, this upcoming week. But guys, this is Frat House Podcast. We signing out.
Peace.
Peace, peace.